Who here has read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek? I've read it too. It's a lot like developing a strategy for a hockey team, assuming every person on your team skates like Connor McDavid.
I can see the whole wide world with these two eyes, and I can be whoever I wanna be, 'cause it's my life.
That you can only work 4 hours per week and build a business. Who here has read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek? I've read it too. It's a lot like developing a strategy for a hockey team, assuming every person on your team skates like Connor McDavid. It's not going to work for most people. Some of the things that he does, are very, very talented and very difficult to replicate. If I could replicate them, I wouldn't be here. I would suggest probably neither would you. That you can change your schedule whenever you like it. A lot of people think I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I can just change my schedule here or there. It's the same repeatable schedule. You do it over and over and over and over again. If it works once, do it again next week. That's what works. That things don't appear on your schedule will get done in your free time. Well, I'm going to do my record keeping in the free time. Chris, you had some.
No, if it doesn't get in my calendar, it doesn't get done. And I can't tell you when I first started out how many things slipped through the cracks because I didn't put it in my schedule. It's a huge myth that you're going to get to it. It needs to be planned out. It needs to be logged in, and it needs to be a part of that routine. I set reminders for everything, even taking a lunch. I 30 minutes to lunchtime. Because if I don't, I will, in the busyness of my day, I will forget, and it'll set myself on a downward spiral. So everything goes in my schedule.
That you can sleep in and simply work later. A lot of entrepreneurs think, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll just start a little later and I'll finish a little later. Well, how many people got a phone call this morning before 8 a.m.? Nobody.
I did. But that's never mind.
How many people would normally get a phone call between 9 and noon on any given day? Great. So how distracted are you going to be between 9 and noon if you start working a little bit later? What's that going to be like? Working earlier is different. Plus, if you end up having a family and you're trying to work business, with a family. These are my two daughters. They're not available at 9 o'clock. If I get home at 9 o'clock, they're no longer available. That's not going to work. So if you're trying to balance business with family, they don't understand why I work at all. Especially the 7-year-old. I get a lot of business consulting from the 7-year-old. She'll tell me things like, hey, Dad, we just had pajama day at school today. You should have a pajama day at work. We get off early on Thursdays. You should get off early on Thursdays. She doesn't quite understand why I work at all. She's like, you're the boss, so why can't you just come home? And it doesn't quite work like that. But starting earlier allows you to still participate in these sort of things in your life. Okay, even with a really hectic schedule. The other one is that Saturday is not a regular work day.
I mean, we're all here, right? So Saturday.
Chris, you started out with
Yeah,
that.
so I started out like, no, Monday to Friday. I'm going to be a Monday to Friday guy. That's what everyone else does, so same with me. Thing is, when it comes to Saturday, it's actually a really valuable day because most people are available on Saturday. Most people can get, most people, that's their time when they're home with their family. They banker's hours, right? That's where everyone works. But on top of that, it's also a great time for you to do the things that you no longer that don't make you money. Let's say, like getting your bookkeeping done, getting your paperwork done, getting all that stuff filed. When you're an entrepreneur, especially when I was a one-man show starting out, that was it. Like I couldn't delegate that to someone. I had to do that, and so and Monday through Friday, I'm at someone's house installing something or fixing something. So Saturday became a huge asset.
So, and I have a mentor, and he's interviewed thousands and thousands of successful people, and they go over and over what their first 4 hours of their day look like and when they work. And 6 days a week keeps coming up. 6 days a week, gets up before 6 a.m. It just keeps happening over and over and over again. So can you do it without that? You can, but now you're just dramatically decreasing your odds again. And I'm not a very religious person, but I bring this one up sometimes. Is anyone ever heard on the seventh day he rested? On the seventh day he rested. Anyone ever heard that? You're all missing the point of that. That meant for the other 6 days, he was busting his ass on the other 6 days. Everyone just focused on the rest. No, the other 6 days, they were working. That's how it worked. That you can effectively multitask. Okay, multitasking. This is my pet peeve, that we think we can multitask, and you start to see these images of entrepreneurs, and they're answering the phone here, and they're writing a note here, and they're getting a coffee here, and they're driving here. Multitasking. Researchers estimate that multitasking costs us 28% of our day. We lose 28% of our day in multitasking. And not only that, it takes an average of 23 minutes to reach your peak level of intellectual capacity once you've been distracted by a single social media update. As soon as you check that text, as soon as you check your social media, you are now dumber for the next 23 minutes. And that's great.
Oh yeah, I can add to this. So I can't tell you how many times I've been on the job site and my phone rings and I won't answer that phone call because I want that money. But when I'm done with that phone call, I now have to remember what I was doing, what part of it. And you're right, 23 minutes sometimes before I'm back into my zone and flow of putting that door together or putting that opener together. And so the Do Not Disturb feature on your phone, amazing. Because when you're actually doing your tasks and focusing on it, you get done a lot sooner. A door install could take 3 to 5 hours, and I guarantee you I'll hit that 3 mark if my phone is on quiet and I'm not answering it. I'm just getting that done and then answering those phone calls later.
Yeah. I keep losing my phone in the office. I keep asking, guys, have you seen my phone? Because I haven't used it in a while. That a business degree will prepare you to own a small business. I'm sorry to break your hearts right now. Your business degree will not prepare you to own a small business. Your business degree prepares you to have intelligent conversations so you can work in a business. That's what your entire business degree is designed to do. That you can scale your business by hiring outsiders to fill key positions. This is a big one. When I get to this point, I'm going to go and find version 2.0. You keep thinking that, and all business owners thought it, I have tried to do it, I've seen my clients try to do it. It just does not work. It does not work. The person who are going to be in your key positions in your organization are working for you right now. And if they're not able to progress, those people who are at the lower level positions right now, you need to get some of those off the bus and get some people who can progress, because you are not going to find those key positions. One of my favorite business books, Good to Great, Jim Collins. It's a highly researched book. He looks at small business. He looks at companies, in fact, just companies in general. And they're looking for companies that were underperformers and for a long period of time, and suddenly became overachievers and were able to sustain that for a long period of time. And there was very few companies who could do this. They were underperformers, and then all of a sudden they became above average performers and sustained it for more than a decade. 85% of them had internally promoted CEOs. 85% of them had internally promoted CEOs. And I've seen it over and over again in small businesses, that people bring in this key position to be the new manager, and it just completely blows up for them. Being a specialist in your field qualifies you to run a business in that field. Chris is the perfect example in this. Chris, how much experience do you have installing garage doors?
So a lot of people in this room kind of know my story, but I'll reiterate for people who don't know me. I'm a second generation garage door company. So that means my dad owns a business in the States, and he trained me from a very young age to do this job. So I'm extremely qualified to put in your garage door. And I'm not only extremely qualified, but I would argue that I'm one of the best in the city. But how many people have heard of me before coming to this meeting at all? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's not a lot of people. And I could be the most qualified person on the planet, But none of the other people that didn't raise their hand are going to call me because they don't know who I am and they don't know what I can do.
And all that work installing garage doors.
Mhm.
You know, you're an expert installer,
Yeah.
second generation installer. Dad's been doing it forever. You've been doing it forever. Did any of that installation teach you how to run a business?
Absolutely not. And that's the key point. So surrounding myself with experts is what's got me to where I am today. But yeah, just because I know how to do something does not mean I know the other thing, the bookkeeping, the back end work, the scheduling, all that stuff. Marketing. Marketing. Thank you very much. Yes, marketing is huge. And I gotta tell you, I'm all thumbs when it comes to Facebook, which you think would be, a good thing, but no, it's not. Anyway.